Hi, we're here today talking about scales, and in this particular video we're going to deal with the major scale, or given its official name, the Ionian mode. The major scale is really the sort of king of all the scales, and we tend to think as jazz musicians of this scale from 1 to 8 to give us all of the other scales. Really, we can trace them back to the major scale just by thinking about what we would do to alter a major scale to get other types of scales. But first of all, let's just talk about this major scale. So its construction, first of all, is going to be, and this for players that use the system of tone and semitone, and also for guys that use the words whole step and half step. So it's going to be tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. This is the DNA, this is the intervals between each of the notes. So if you're doing that in whole step and half step, it's whole step, a half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, and a half step again. Okay, so this is what a major scale is going to sound like with its arpeggio, or what would be known as the chord. It's got a very bright and sunny nature to it, the major scale. It can be used in absolutely any form of music. You will see this scale right across the board. There is no type of music which hasn't used the major scale. It's available to you and used absolutely everywhere. When you're starting to practice the major scale, as we've mentioned before in the preliminary video for this, about how to prep to learn your scales, you need to obviously learn them in the 12 keys. That's going to be really essential for you to do that. When you're practicing them, you would want to use patterns. Now, it's not something that I want to get into on this video, because there are so many patterns that you could use. There are books and books and books of them, and I'm sure that whoever your particular teacher is, or your educator locally, is going to give you their favourites for you to learn on. So go and check out some patterns which suit you to really get to know the major scale. Okay, so the other thing about the major scale, of course, is that if we start it on any one of its other notes, it gives us this other term which you may have heard already, called modes. So if we was to start the major scale on its second note, we're talking about a Dorian mode. If we go to the third, we're talking about Phrygian. If we start on the fourth note, we're talking about Lydian. The fifth note, Mixolydian. The sixth note, Aeolian, and the seventh note, Locrian. Okay, now modes are a completely other subject to this, but that's just to say that you can play those kind of games with the major scale. You can start it on any one of its notes, and it will give you another scale going from that note to its octave above. Alright, so let's give you a quick demo of the major scale, and this is a really very, very old tune that you may well recognise. Take the notes of the major scale and we start to add a little bit of rhythm into this, we can start to get into a stage where we're beginning to improvise just using these notes. So we'll take the same tune, 2 and 3 and 4. There you go. So we didn't do anything, didn't use any other notes apart from the notes which are in the major scale. For those of you just trying to work out the key, by the way, that we're using here, it's concert C. So for us tenor players, it will be the scale of D major that we've been looking at.